it's Karen here today. I have got a fun little Moody unicorn card with the reveal wheel. So they're actually little rainbow unicorns from Gerda Steiner Designs. To make this card, you need the Fawn Reveal Wheel die set. And I have cut that circle from actually watercolor paper that I have colored into not quadrants, but six areas or shades of the rainbow. And I've die cut just out of plain white cardstock that small inner circle, and you need a brad. And I just like to put these two together so I don't lose them on my desk. So that's going to be the center part of this. Now I've die cut these two pieces out of the square. I have the added on square die, but you can use the rectangle. You just do partial die cutting. And I'm just showing here that you don't need that little jigsaw puzzle because you're going to end up cutting out the mane from the unicorns, and that will be the part that's revealed. So I used this really cute stamp set. I love these little unicorns because they've got the best expressions. And the two I picked are those two I just showed you. You want to make sure that when you stamp these onto that card front or that reveal wheel front, that the manes actually fit onto the reveal wheel, because that's what's going to show through behind them once it's cut out. So you have to put them fairly close together, and I'm just kind of positioning them where I want them here, and then I will stamp them like that onto my square reveal wheel front, which is right there. So I'm just lining up now. That notch has to be showing through, or the reveal wheel has to be coming above the notch at the top there. So just make sure you get that lined up when you go to stamp them. So I've stamped them here in a Copic friendly ink, and now I've got a piece of scrap acetate that I am putting right over them, and I'm going to stamp again. I've left the unicorns on my stamp positioner, and I'm now going to stamp them again with StazOn ink. And even though I had magnets on my acetate, that StazOn ink is so sticky, it just pulled my acetate right up. So you may want to try masking taping it down. I don't know if that would still work or not, but no matter what, it's easy to line up with the image in behind. And I had to stamp them about 3 times, so I don't know if my StazOn ink is a bit dry, and that's why I had to do it so many times, but to get a really good impression, I did that 3 times. So here I'm now cutting out the acetate, just trimming it down around the unicorns. And that's all you have to do with that little part for now. So then I masked off the unicorns and stamped in the flowers and the present. And then I Copic colored all of this in. I didn't bother including the coloring, so it's all magically done now. And then the next part now is to cut out the horn and the mane of these unicorns. And I just used a fairly sharp craft knife and went around. I tried to turn the paper instead of the knife. When you get to a point like that, just turn the paper. And I did that. It really wasn't that hard. It's just you have to go a little carefully. But if your knife is sharp, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. And then you can see that will just pop out. And I did the same again with the other unicorn. So the unicorns are ready. So now I find it easier to put that acetate on a white background, so a scrap piece of paper. And now I glued down all around the edges on the inside of the sleeve of the reveal wheel on the front there, just so it's all adhered, or will be adhered. And now this is the part, just be careful when you line these up. You don't want glue all over the acetate, so try your best to line it up. I was a little off on the right hand side there, but it didn't seem to matter. I don't think there was enough glue on that side that it didn't make a mess. But that's the one thing to be careful of. And then I just stuck it down and put it under some acrylic blocks to let it really set. And then I went on to assembling the reveal wheel. So I've already got the white center inner circle there. you want to put some foam tape on that just to keep it popped up off the background. So that's what I'm doing here. And then the next step is going to be how to position that, because you don't really have the Lawn Fawn Reveal Wheel window to use as a guide. So you're going to use those unicorns. You want to make sure that the watercolored background covers the mains at the bottom and that the notch still shows up, or the wheel still shows up above the notch there. So you can actually turn it. So I'm really just trying to make sure everything's covered at the back. And then just line those notches up, and I'm holding it all together. You just press it down. So now the reveal wheel is stuck down, or I guess the inner wheel. I don't know what you would call that. And I find this is my trick for making it turn more smoothly. I put a little foam tape behind the wheel. I don't remove the backing paper because that would stick it down. But I leave the backing paper on and just stick some foam tape behind that, just so it stays a little flatter. It doesn't wobble and warp as much, so it's a bit easier to spin. So there you see it's turning freely. It's not adhered. There's the backing on the foam tape. And then you put foam tape all around the edges, and I like to put a little glue on mine because it gives you a little bit more wiggle room when you go to put the front cover on. So a little glue all around, and then line up the notches you'll see here in a minute. Just line all that up. Just be careful. My tape is so sticky that it's a bit of a challenge to get it adhered together without going wrong. So once it's in place, just press it all down, and that's the fun part of the card done. That's really pretty simple. So you can see here, as you turn it, the mains and the horn change in a rainbow color, rainbow pattern. So I just thought that was kind of fun. So I've made a card front. I die cut some clouds and did a little ink blending in a rainbow pattern. And I'm just sticking that to the front of my card here. And you can see I didn't bother putting clouds in the center of it. You're going to end up covering that up, and you put foam tape on the back of that reveal wheel pocket, and so that bulks it up a bit. So now I've stamped the word turn, and that little arrow comes with the reveal wheel, and I just die cut that out in black. And that's the front. Now I've got a bunch of clouds all die cut, you can see them there, and I wanted to stamp on those sentiments, how old and are you kidding me? And so I stamped those on the clouds, added a few more clouds, and that is the card. Really not that hard to do, quite honestly. And you can see it's kind of a fun card for a little girl, or well, maybe an older girl. I kind of get entertained by it. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I hope you can give this a try.